What's up, family? Hey, I want to jump on here and we're gonna have a heart to heart. My bad. We're gonna have a heart to heart today, okay? And man, we're gonna get deep. We're gonna talk about love. Love. Probably the most overused, misused word in the American language, in the English language. Love. Man, I know everybody's convinced that they know what love is. I know the churches messed us up in regards to explaining to us that there are four different types of love. Um, family, there are not four different types of love. There is not a brotherly love. There is not an erotic love. There is not an agape love. There is none of that crap. It's just love. You know what I mean? It's just love. I can't make that any clearer. There is only one type of love. Love. You know what I mean? There's only one type of love, and that's unconditional love. Anything else is not love. I'm going to say that again. There is only one, uno, type of love, and that's unconditional love. Anything else is not love. You don't have a love for your brothers, a love for your friends, a love for your parents, a love for your kids, a love for your spouse. You know what I mean? A love for yourself, a love for God. You know what I mean? A love for sex. It's not all that stupid stuff. It's just love. Just love. And when I, I don't even know how this got so twisted. It doesn't even make sense how this got so twisted. You know what I mean? When somebody do something to you and you can stop loving them, man, you ain't never loved them. You know what I mean? You have never loved them. If somebody can cheat on you or disrespect you or whatever, and if you stop loving them, you didn't love them. You didn't love them. And your love was conditional. And because your love, quote unquote, love was conditional, it wasn't love. Love is not conditional. Love is unconditional. Always has been, always will be. Okay? And what I mean that your quote unquote love is conditional, and don't get it twisted, family. You know what I mean? I've had women cheat on me. You know what I mean? I've had women break my heart. And I say this all the time. And you know what? And the truth be told, I still love them. I still love them. I may not have the same feelings or thoughts about them. And because I don't have the same thoughts about them, I'm not quote unquote in love with them. I don't have that passion for them. But the love is still there. Don't get it twisted. And it's crazy because you know what? Because we've been hurt, because we've been dogged out, we automatically assume that the love is gone. It's like the sun. The sun is always there. You may not see it, you may not feel the warmth of it, but it's always there. And why don't you see it? You don't see it because of the fog. You don't see it because of the smog. You don't see it because of the clouds and the storm. But the sun is still there. When you get past all the other stuff blocking the sun, it's still there. And the same thing with love. When you get past your feelings, when you get past the hurt, when you get past the disappointment, when you get past the letdown, the abandonment, the whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, the love is still there. The problem with the great majority of us, we never get past our issues. Our issues are the storms. Our issues is the clouds. Our issues is the fog, the smog, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And because we never go past our issues, we never return to love. We don't see the love. And so when I tell people, man, yeah, I love my dad, you know what I mean? And I love him when he passed away. Even though he created so much harm, even though he created so much pain and suffering in my life, and not just my life, and I would say dang near everybody's life that he's ever touched, you know what I mean? He created a lot of havoc. He created a lot of havoc, you know what I mean? A lot of pain, a lot of suffering for dang near everyone he came across, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But the reality is, once you get past the pain, once I got past the pain, once I got past being a victim of his ignorance, because that's all it is. Anytime somebody does something that causes pain on someone else's life, that causes suffering and harm and whoop de, it's just ignorance. It's ignorance. And we all have some ignorance in us. And so often we get it twisted talking about ignorance and sin. You know what I mean? And the church has this monopoly on what a sin is. You know what I mean? Sin is just ignorance. It's just the ignorance. And it's what is sin? What is ignorance? Man, it's just not doing what you came here to do. It's just not being in alignment with your ultimate purpose. Anything that has you distracted, anything that takes you off your path, anything that you do that's not in alignment, in conjunction with your ultimate purpose for being here, is a sin. That's all it is. And so often we get so caught up, oh, well, that's not in alignment with God. We're still talking about love. Stay with me. So we get all caught up, oh, a sin is, that's not in alignment with God, or whoop de whoop. That's still you. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, we have to take back control of our life. We have to stop allowing people to manipulate and control us. That's part of love. That's part of loving yourself. That's part of knowing yourself. And so, anytime you do anything, anytime anybody does anything that is not in alignment with their ultimate purpose, it's a sin. It's ignorance. Okay? And we all do that. Every single one of us. And so we have to stop being so judgmental. Just because your quote unquote sin is not my sin, I demonize you. I put you down. You know what I mean? And it's not that I do that because I don't judge anyone, but that's what we do as far as the church, as far as religion, as far as just humanity. We look down on people. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, because we have low self-esteem, because we want to feel better about ourselves. Oh, at least I didn't do such and such. You know what I mean? It's all ignorance. It's all ignorance. And so we have to get past that little stupid superficial crap. Okay? It's all ignorance. All of it. Okay? And so love is ignorant when you don't love yourself. It's ignorant when you don't know how to love yourself. And I know people's like, man, you putting people down and you offending people, calling them ignorant. Man, shut the hell up. We're all ignorant. Every single person walking the planet is ignorant of something. Stop being so freaking egotistical. Stop being so freaking sensitive. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. We have to grow up. There's not a person walking, there's not a person alive that is not ignorant of something. That doesn't mean that you're less human than I am. That doesn't mean you're less enlightened. We have to grow up. We have to learn to get outside of our freaking ego. Still talking about love. Stay with me. And so we have this thing where you have to love everybody. You know what I mean? But the church has never told you or taught you to love yourself. You know what I mean? The church and everybody else is, man, you gotta love your neighbors and you gotta love your enemy and you gotta love this. If you don't know how to love you, you don't know how to love everybody else. You could be manipulated, you could be used, you know what I mean, by everybody else. Just because you're nice to people don't mean you love them. Just because you give to people don't mean you love them. that doesn't mean you love them. And that doesn't mean that they love you because they take you out to eat, because they pay your bills. You know what I mean? Just because they pay your bills and take you out to eat, buy you clothes, buy you nice bags, and whoop de whoop de whoop, don't mean they love you. It don't mean they care about you. But because we don't have any understanding of what love is, we take that as freaking love. Family, we have to grow up. And I say that all the time. We have to grow up spiritually. We have to grow up intellectually. We have to grow up emotionally. We have to grow up. And we have to understand what love is and what love is not. It is not love when you could do for everybody else and you don't do for yourself. It is not love. And I don't care what you do and I don't care what you think. If you're going all out your way for everybody else and whoop de whoop de whoop, and you're tearing yourself up, and you're killing yourself on the inside at the same time, that's not love. That's not love for them. That's not love for them. You're not loving somebody else if you're killing yourself on the inside. That's not love if you're betraying your gut instinct. You're betraying what you intuitively know to be doing is right or wrong. You know what I mean? If you know it's wrong and you know it's wrong on the inside, it just don't sit right with you. But you're doing it to appease somebody else. You're doing it to appease your parents. You're doing it to appease your kids. And so often when I see this, working with kids and working with these mothers, man, these kids are off the freaking hook. You know what I mean? These kids are off the freaking chain. And they're off the chain because their parents are off the chain. These kids have no respect, no regard of what their parents bring to the table, whoop de whoop do, and they don't respect their parents. They're talking back to their parents and all this other stupid stuff. Why? Because number one, they don't love themselves. Number two, they don't love the parent. Why? Because their parents never taught them how to love. And that's harsh reality. It's a cold reality when we have to sit back and start accepting the fact that, man, we've messed up this next generation. It's a cold reality when we have to sit back and acknowledge the fact that, man, this generation right now, this generation here, man. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Family, we have to wake up. Just because you love somebody don't mean that you have to be around them. Just because you love somebody don't mean that you have to deal with their foolishness. Just because you love somebody don't mean that you have to stay with them. I'm going to say that again. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you have to keep tolerating their foolishness. It doesn't mean that you have to keep tolerating their disrespect, their abuse, emotional, physical, whatever the case may be. You ain't got to stay with them just because you love them. The devil is a lie. You know what I mean? No. You better love you first and foremost. And I say this a lot. How I love me is how I teach everybody else how to love me. You know what I mean? How I love me, I show everybody else around me what I accept as love and what I don't accept as love. You know what I mean? You can't be in it, and I see this so much with women, and I see it with guys too, but more so with women. You can't be so in quote unquote in love with some dude that you're doing whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop, and you're letting him do da da da, and he's disrespecting you, putting you down, da 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 da, and yet you love him and you stay with him and you keep tolerating that and you keep accepting that, and y'all got kids and your kids are seeing this. Your kids is hearing this. You are damaging those kids. I don't care what you say about this dude. Yeah, he's dead wrong for everything that he's done. You're just as wrong as that dude is for staying in that situation because you're programming your kids and teaching your kids that this is love. And because this is love, you allow people to mistreat you. You allow people to talk down to you. You allow people to abuse you physically and emotionally. You teaching your sons that this is how you get at women. You teaching your sons that regardless of what you say, you can tell your sons all day long, don't talk to women like that, blah blah blah. You're teaching them that it's okay, and that's what they should be doing because he sees his dad doing that. You're teaching your daughters that this is how dudes get at girls, and it's okay for you to go through this. It's okay for you to deal with this, and this is what you're supposed to expect. You're just as wrong as that dude is. You have to learn to love yourself first and foremost. Again, there aren't four different types of love. There's only one type of love, and that's unconditional love. Once you start putting conditions on that, on your love, well, I love you, and just don't hurt me. I love you, just don't betray my heart. I love you, just don't cheat on me. I love you, just don't do this. I love you, just don't do this. Whoop de whoop de woo. I love you. Make sure you do this. I love you. Make sure you do this. Once you start putting all those conditions on it, it is not love, and that is proof to you that you're not in love. Anytime there are conditions on it, it's not love. And that's all those conditions are showing you is that, man, you gotten off the path. You missed the mark. You missed the mark. It's not love. It's a need. It's a desire. It's a want. It may be emotional attachments. It may be a whole bunch of stuff. But the one thing that I'm positive it ain't is love. It ain't love at all. Because love has no conditions. See, when you tell that person, well, I loved you until you cheated on me, no, you didn't. You didn't love them. You wanted to be with them. And then when they broke your heart, when they cheated on you, whoop de whoop, and you broke off the love, nah, it wasn't love. If your love stops, it's not love. You know what I mean? If your love just disappears and you could just throw it away and just like, psh, I'm done with this dude, I'm done with this girl, psh, I don't love them no more, and that's not love in any way, shape, or form. You can love somebody and they cheat on you, they betray you, yeah, you could cut the relationship off. And I'm not telling you that's what you're supposed to do. You can cut the relationship off. Me myself, I ain't standing with somebody I can't trust. I'm not. I don't care what anybody else say. I don't care what anybody else preach, teach, or whatever. If I can't trust you, we ain't got no relationship. End the conversation. It's not even a discussion. It don't mean that I don't trust you. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. I love you. You broke my heart. But because I love me, I'm not accepting that abuse. Because I love me, I'm not accepting that disrespect. Because I love me, I'm not putting myself in that situation or keeping myself in that situation and keep getting hurt over and over and over again. Because when I do that, I'm not loving me. And the world, the church has taught us how to quote unquote love because it's not real love everybody else while not love ourselves. You know what I mean? And we've taught that by not loving ourselves, that's humility and blah blah blah. No, that's ignorance. It's ignorance. That's all it is. It's just ignorance. Because I love me, man, I can love everybody else. Because I love me, I do love everybody else. I don't care what their color is. I don't care what their race is. I don't care what their religious beliefs are. I don't care what their sexual orientation is. None of that crap matter to me. I don't care if they're prejudiced. I don't care. None of that stuff matters to me. It don't matter. because love is blind in the aspect of all these stupid stuff that we put on. You know what I mean? And so when I talk about love, it's the unconditional love. It's just love. It's just love. My love may be expressed differently. It's just like you having kids. I have 7 kids. I love every single one of them. Every single one of them is different, have a totally different personality. You know what I mean? Every single one has a totally different personality. I don't love one more than I love the other. I interact with them differently based on who they are. Some like the public praise. Some are more reserved. They ain't into all of that. They don't want you putting them on the spot like that. No matter how great what they've done, they don't want that attention, that public attention. Some of them won't want that. And so it's just a matter of knowing your kids, knowing your people. As a supervisor, I knew that. You can't treat every employee the same. You treat them all fair, but you can't treat them all the same because they all don't have the same goals. They don't all have the same desires. You know what I mean? They're not. They don't all have the same personalities. So you have to meet people where they're at. And the great majority of us don't know anything about that. You know what I mean? That's part of loving somebody. Loving somebody is getting to know them on an intimate level. Part of not loving somebody is getting the opportunity and opening yourself up to be transparent and vulnerable with them. You know what I mean? Anytime you throw up all these walls and man, you're guarded and all this other stuff, man, that's not really love. You can't really love somebody being completely guarded. It's weird because it's not weird, but in '95, I was talking to the young dude Gary out of Seattle. He was from Seattle. He's in the Air Force with me. Gary Fogelman, and we was talking about love. And I told him, I said, you know what? Most people have no idea what love is. And he was asking me some questions. And I was like 25 at the time. And I told him, I said, man, so often in life we get hurt. And we all do this. We build a self-defense mechanism. Our self-defense mechanism within us kicks up to protect us from being hurt. It's like getting a cut on your arm. Your body naturally goes to begin the healing process, and you naturally go to protect that part of your arm. Anytime somebody comes and they're getting ready to bump into your arm or whatever, first thing you do is you reach down, grab your arm, or you turn. Why? Because you're protecting, naturally, instinctively, you're protecting that hurt part of your body. And the mind does the same thing. Anytime you get hurt, man, we build this castle around our heart so that we don't get hurt. The thing about that castle is, yes, it stops you from getting hurt, but it also stops you from expressing love. You can't give out love with that wall around your heart, and you can't receive love with that wall around your heart. And so you have to start tearing those bricks down, brick by brick. And what are those bricks? Man, those bricks are your issues. You know what I mean? Those bricks are the things of why you put those walls up. You know what I mean? They're the issues. They're the circumstances. You know what I mean? The experiences. And so that's all that castle is. That's all that brick is. It's just your circumstances, your issues. You know what I mean? And so, man, you got to start dealing with that stuff to be able to make your heart vulnerable again. And that's the only way you can receive and give love, is by putting yourself in that position to be vulnerable. So you hear me talk a lot about heart. We're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation because there's nothing between the hearts. It's completely transparent. And we don't do that with each other because we're scared. We don't do that with each other because we're afraid of getting hurt. We don't do that with each other because we still got issues, unresolved issues. You know what I mean? And I don't want you to see all of me. And so I don't allow you but so close. You know what I mean? I'm not going to show you this part of me. Why? Because, man, you might not accept this part, and then you're going to reject me, and then I'm going to get hurt. And so, man, it's just easier for me not to show you this. It's talking about love. And so, we have to grow, and we have to understand what love is and what love is not. Again, there are not four different types of love. There's only one type of love, and that is unconditional love. Anything else is not love in any way, shape, or form. I don't care how you color it, I don't care what it look like. It ain't love. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.